I think for parents, yes, parents must work like teachers. But if you ensure that this school has a child protection policy, do they even have? How many school has it?
Policy.
Yes, how many school has a child protection policy? And how many school are, even for some schools that have the child protection policy, how many parents are aware of this policy? So because it's not restricted, I mean, it's not limited to the workers in the school, that means the teaching and non-teaching staff. It must also extend, the parents must also know about this policy. We don't talk about those teachers or those school proprietors or proprietors, or because of the mathematics or English they taught us. It is because of the care, the protection they provided to us while we were in their school. Yeah, so maybe when I was going through ones there, they were able to bring me. I could remember that auntie. She was one that always, when I arrive in the morning, she gives me money for food. She gives me this. It's not because she was the one that taught me how to know. That taught me
care.
Yeah. So it's the care. So that tells us that the first responsibility of every parent is this care. It's not the mathematics that the child is going to learn. So even if you are taking your child to that school and they know, they are the best in the country, you must watch out for those other things that will keep your child safe around there. So once that is done, then I think we'll be able to overcome some of these things that we overcome. We cannot say we'll overcome them totally. Yeah. Because even in senior society, in the UK, the US, there are still issues. People are still trying to bypass the law. We still have cases of footballers even going as far as sexually abusing children. But it does not. But if we're able to, at least it's limited compared to what we have down here. So I think by taking up our responsibility, and let me use the word shine your eye, by shining our eyes clearly and not just closing our eyes from other things that are happening around us, then we'll be able to identify those safe areas and those unsafe places for our children. There are rules and regulations in the country.
Code of conduct.
And so, we can, if you say it sometimes, it does not make any sense until somebody says there is a constitution. According to the constitution so we want it documented. Okay. There are things that we already know that we talk about, but they want it documented. So every parent should begin to ask the school, where is your child protection policy? And then, there are some simple questions. Okay, what if this happens to the child? What is if somebody comes to the school and takes a child away, okay, what would the school do about it? The response of the head teacher could give you an idea of, what they will do or what they will not do, and so you understand if the school is safe enough for you. Or if other children because there are cases of child-to-child abuse, which is really, really going on that we're not paying attention to. So you could ask questions about children, how do they relate to them, how do they handle child-to-child issues. And so if they say, that is their problem, their parents, then you know that this is not the safe place for the child. Okay, so when we talk about exploitation, yes, it's another form of abuse, but when we talk about exploitation, it's when somebody take advantage of a child for self-gratification, like a typical example is when you use a child for labor in your home, and then somebody, when the child is working, somebody is coming to get the money. So you are using the child for a purpose which somebody else is for another person's enjoyment. Let me put it in the name. And so the person is the one collecting the money, and then that is exploitation. That means, or when you take advantage of a child because he or she does not have of a girl child or a boy child, because he or she does not have the power or the strength or the knowledge as much as you have, and you use that to manipulate that child, and then you engage that child in sexual conduct, then that could be exploitation. It just means that taking advantage of a child. At Child Protection Network level, we can only support, or let me say, we can also ensure, but we can't enforce because we are not government agency or ministry, or even though those government agencies, the ministries, some department of government are also part of Child Protection Network. So what we do is to give necessary support to these agencies like the Ministry of Education. So what we're planning, what is in the pipeline now is to get this done at the federal level, get the Federal Ministry of Education to come up with a child protection policy, and also like a statement with a policy document which is going to be mandatory for all schools. But at our level, at NGO level, many of our organizations, we encourage many of our organizations to work with private schools. But so those organizations that understand, because it's another thing, many organizations do not really understand what the child protection policy entails. But at that level, we try to encourage, every opportunity we get, we try to encourage private schools, at least, since those ones are individually owned. But so we talk to the head of school, we go to what do you call the association? NAPS. The NAPS
Association of School Heads.
So we talk to them at that level. But for government schools, we try to work with the government ministry so that they can have it, because once the Ministry of Education, for example, has it means that it has covered all the schools in that state or in that country, and so it's just for them to now enforce and make sure that all schools are by it. So that's what we're doing. So we try to give our support in terms of helping them to develop it, and then they go ahead to enforce and make sure that it becomes implemented. But for Child Protection Network now, we are still in discussion and trying to get Ministry of Education to do the necessary thing, because we are seeing a lot of things happening around in the country at this time. So it's big, it calls for real urgent attention and urgent action right now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sonny.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, parents. Mr. Sonny would be back because he's loaded and he has a lot, to say to us on this issue. So the next episode, we're still going to have him. Now, in the course of Mr. Sonny's speech or presentation, he said something that I want us to take home, from this episode. That our relationship with people around us, in the neighborhood, even relations, will determine their attitude to our children.